US tariffs could push Europe's largest economy into a recession, German central bank President Joachim Nagel warned. The tariff war is set to exacerbate the existing symptoms of Germany's stagnating economy, which has contracted for 2 consecutive years amid the combined aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and the energy crisis triggered by the Western sanctions on Russia for its 3-year conflict with Ukraine. The tariff war could also lead to more job layoffs in Germany in the near future. The uncertainty stemming from tariffs arises at a moment when EU countries may be preparing to relax their budget constraints to allow for increased defense spending, coinciding with Germany's potential reform of significant fiscal policies. Additionally, Trump is advocating for NATO member states to enhance their defense expenditures. According to the president of Germany's central bank Deutsche Bundesbank Joachim Nagel, Trump's tariffs on Europe and Germany could tip Europe's largest economy into another recession this year. He said, "We are in a world with tariffs, so we could expect maybe a recession for this year if the tariffs are really coming." He added there are only losers when imposing tariffs and supported the EU's retaliatory measures against US President Donald Trump's 25% tariff on all steel imports from overseas. Tariffs are definitely coming, starting from April 1st, as are the retaliatory tariffs from Europe to the United States. However, Germany is in a weaker position as its economy has been stagnating for the last 2 years. Even without tariffs, the German economy will stagnate but still grow a little bit, by about 0.2%. However, Trump's tariffs could make it worse. Tariffs are a central part of Trump's overall economic vision as he hopes they will boost US manufacturing and protect jobs. However, it won't work out as it seems and will raise prices for US consumers. Germany's export economy has been one of its strengths in past decades, and its cars such as BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagens, and Audis are popular in the US. German exports will be hit by the US tariffs, which will lead to less export and more job layoffs. And due to retaliatory tariffs by the European Union to the US, German consumers might have to dig deeper into their pockets to pay for American products such as orange juice, bourbon, and peanut butter. The European Union retaliated against Trump's 25% duties on steel and aluminum imports with a spate of counter tariffs set to affect 26 billion euros or $28.26 billion worth of US goods starting in April. But President Trump intensified his threats in reaction to the European Union's retaliatory tariffs, stating that the United States would impose a 200% trade tax on European wine and liquor. As the third largest exporter globally based on 2023 statistics, and with the United States being its primary importer, Germany faces significant risk from tariffs that could undermine its automotive and machinery industries. Before I proceed, I encourage you to like the video and share your views on the topic in the comment section below. Your feedback is invaluable for us and a wider audience around the world. US tariffs imposed on Mexico, Canada, and China will also impact German automobile manufacturers that produce components in these nations and export them to the United States. German car companies, including Audi, produce cars in Mexico. According to data from the German Car Association, German car makers produced 716,000 cars in Mexico, primarily for the US market. If Trump's tariffs mean German cars produced in Mexico cannot be sold as easily or are much more expensive now in the US, then this could have a bigger impact on German car makers. Tariffs and subsequent decreased demand for German cars from Mexico would impact the German, European, and Mexican workforce, and unemployment rates would also be affected. According to World Bank data, exports of goods and services accounted for 43.4% of Germany's GDP in 2023. The Federal Statistics Office data indicate Germany's typically high foreign trade surplus most recently reduced to 16 billion euros in January this year compared with 20.7 billion euros in December 2024. Just months after inflation and interest rates began descending in the Eurozone last year, returning US President Donald Trump's tariff-heavy strategy aimed at reducing his country's perceived deficits with trade partners is rattling markets and fracturing Europe's traditionally strong relationship with its transatlantic ally. Last week, Fitch Ratings warned that the initiative, which could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures, risks lowering the headroom of the EU's current AAA rating because of the additional debt likely to be undertaken without leading to an outright downgrade. So, what will be the growth rate of the German economy in 2025? What are the other factors affecting the economy, and how will US tariffs affect the German economy? In October 2024, the German government predicted a 1.1% GDP growth for 2025. However, shortly in January 2025, the government revised this forecast down to 0.3% due to weak business prospects, geopolitical uncertainty, and structural challenges. However, if US tariffs are imposed, then we cannot expect any growth in 2025 and the economy will continue to stagnate. Germany's economy has seen 2 years of decline. Key indicators for the year ahead suggest the continuation of this economic weakness. The German economy is also facing deep-rooted structural issues that are contributing to a further decline in sentiment. Following a 0.3% contraction in GDP in 2023 and a further decline of 0.2% in 2024, only modest growth is expected for 2025 if everything is in favor of Germany. Apart from the Trump tariffs, the main factors affecting the German economy are high energy costs, significant administrative burdens, growing global protectionist tendencies, uncertainty surrounding the economic policy direction of the new federal government, and the concerns over the potential rise of political fringes. Due to weak business prospects and geopolitical uncertainty, the German economy is expected to remain largely stagnant in 2025. The question arises, what is the labor market situation in Germany and how people are affected by the stagnating German economy? The challenges of the industrial landscape are also reflected in the labor market. In December 2024, the number of unemployed individuals rose by approximately 170,000 compared to the same period a year ago, reaching a total of 2.81 million unemployed. This has led to an increase in the unemployment rate to 6%. The number of short-term workers also shows a clear upward trend, with a 13% increase in November 2024 compared to the previous year. At the same time, the number of job vacancies have been gradually declining from a record high of nearly 887,000 vacancies in August 2022. Demand has significantly cooled down, reaching only 654,000 open positions in December 2024, the lowest level since 2021. The labor market outlook for the coming year remains bleak. According to recent surveys, for the first time, more companies, about 28%, plan to reduce jobs than those intending to create new positions, about 19%. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for new videos on important international topics.